Hi friends, thank you for dropping in on TNT. It's the Tuesday edition, and firstly just like to thank I think it was 7 people in the end who came to say hello to me in Penang of all places, saying that they were enjoying TNT, and it was good to hear their stories, and thank you for your time to come and say hello. Also just like to invite anybody who's not currently a subscriber to just click the button below. It does do a lot to help. It doesn't annoy you. You can get alerts too if you want, and also a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All that does help propel the channel into wherever it's going. But we do need to start with the big story from yesterday, and this is the Bangkok Post version of it, although I should acknowledge that it's an AFP story reprinted in the Bangkok Post. I just want to sort of question the photo they've chosen there. President Xi looking fairly smug, and Joe Biden there. I'm not sure exactly what's happened. Maybe President Xi just farted or something, but strange look on his face. But there are quite a few things in the article. I've just chosen, I think, what are the sort of the key points. So let's go to those. And President Joe Biden and Xi Jinping both sought to lower the temperature between the US and China during a rare summit. So that was held yesterday morning in Nusa Dua, Bali in Indonesia. Biden said there need not be a new Cold War between the two powers, and Xi told him that China was not challenging the international order. The top line says, in the first in-person summit between the two nations' presidents since 2019, each side had an interest in downplaying friction. And then an interesting comment from Rui Zhong from the Wilson Centre, who says, for Xi, the perception of regional stability is still something that he would like to hold on to. China growing and throwing its weight around has been a long-held concern of the smaller states of Southeast Asia. And back to the general reporting, for Biden, the most pressing diplomatic priority has been reining in Russia over its invasion of Ukraine, and he's trumpeted what he sees as China's wavering support for nominal ally Moscow, including a refusal to send weapons. And the White House said Xi agrees with Biden on opposition to the use or threat of use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine. I think we'd all have to agree that's a good thing. And now to another commentator. This is Rush Doshi, a China advisor to Biden who took part in the Bali talks, wrote in a book that Xi saw historic opportunities due to what he viewed as Western decline, evidenced by the rise of Donald Trump, Britain's exit from the EU, and the pandemic response. China's strategy involves blunting and building efforts worldwide to displace the US as the global leader. Interesting looking back at that time when the UK did leave the EU. And of course, the Trump presidency, as far as its foreign policy is concerned, became quite insular. And there was more talk about building a wall between the US and Mexico, rather than at the same time China was still spreading out into the rest of the world with its Belt and Road strategy. Not saying that one policy is better than the other, just noting that that was the tone during that time. And just finally in that report, Biden told reporters he understood that Xi would not launch an imminent invasion of Taiwan, but Xi again warned about supporting Taiwan's independence. I thought what we might do now is just have a quick whip around and see the headlines for the meeting yesterday. We start with the South China Morning Post, a couple of headlines there. Who accompanied Chinese President Xi Jinping for Biden talks. It's also important when we have these talks, especially between nations when there is a language barrier, is who are the people doing the interpreting and who are the people hanging around behind the cameras, because they are really the people who are sort of driving a lot of the conversation and interpreting exactly what's being said. Also, Xi Biden talks US Secretary of State to visit China to keep up communication. Let's hope that there is an ongoing discussion between these two countries now that there's been this, well, historic face-to-face discussion. The Straits Times reports Xi Biden vowed to avoid conflict and get China-US relations back on track. In the Jakarta Post, Biden, Xi clash on Taiwan but find common ground on Ukraine. And the Murdoch paper, the biggest online publication in Australia, news.com.au, Up the top there, what the women tosses mud at tradies, fake fans, World Cup scandal erupts over suspicious supporters, and then wealthy teens, Singapore arrests over lingerie. So that's the way the largest online publication in Australia didn't cover the meeting between the two presidents. With thanks to 5 Star Marine, thank you for your support, where you can get on one of these great little boats. They're all called Lucas, named after the owner of the company's son. And you can go to an island like this, and there's 20 other islands around. In fact, I think there's about 30 islands directly around Phuket, all with beautiful little beaches and all with a unique vibe of their own. You're watching TNT. It's Tuesday. So thank you for dropping in on TNT. And we move from regional news to some Thai news now. And if you are one of the visiting APEC dignitaries, there'd be one thing on your mind, probably the most important issue of all, and that's what's in the goodies bag. What are they going to serve up to you? What are they going to give you? Noting that in Cambodia last week at the ASEAN summit, they were giving people those very cool little watches. I thought they looked great, actually. I think they might be worth something one day. And I wonder if Prawit Wongsuwon got his hands on one of them. He's the guy that loves wearing all the luxury watches. Thai PBS World reports Thai government 7 souvenirs for APEC leaders and their spouses. You're just dying to know what they are, aren't you? Let's have a look. This is sort of what they look like. Okay, so what exactly is in the goodie bag? You get an engraved image of the Grand Palace made from recycled metal. A box containing a necktie, shawl, handkerchief and face mask. Oh, that'll be interesting. I wonder whether they'll be wearing face masks around APEC. Noting that still in Bangkok, most people wandering around are still wearing a face mask. Wonder if they'll be doing that at the APEC meeting. You'll get a jewellery box engraved with a traditional Thai pattern and the APEC logo. A photo of the respective APEC leader taken during their audience with His Majesty the King. I'm not sure if they had like a photo booth set up there, but that'd be a nice memento, a photo with His Majesty. You also get a vanity box. Not exactly sure what a vanity box is, but it's made from grass and edged with silver. And also 2 directories of Thailand silk manufacturers and silk retailers. Well, I'd come to APEC just for that final gift. So there are the gifts that you get if you're coming to the APEC meeting. Now, I noted yesterday that there have been a lot of signs put up around Bangkok, like a lot of signs, particularly on the routes that will be taken by the dignitaries and the world leaders as they make their way to the Queen Sirikit Convention Centre and their respective accommodations. But, gee, attention to detail? Oh dear, oh dear. Somebody just forgot the spell check on that one. So somebody will be rushing up, no doubt, with a can of red paint just to add the extra E onto that one. Can I actually do that in this program? No, I don't think I can. What a shame. That would have been nice to add the E for them. But there you go, just a little bit of a whoopsie. As we move on to our next story, this one from Phuket-go.com, and it's a long way to the top. Patong Hill Road repair woes. The story says repairs to the damaged Patong Hill Road are taking longer than the original 2-week optimistic projection. The second paragraph, island officials, earlier hopeful that repairs could be made by mid-December, now admit that a full repair will take a lot longer. After firstly pedestrian traffic was allowed, then motorcycles, then vehicles travelling from Patong to Katu, then vehicles in both directions. The route for vehicles uphill from Katu was closed again on Friday. That didn't last very long at all. Police notified authorities that new cracks were starting to appear again, and existing cracks were continuing to widen with the additional traffic. Yeah, I think that'd be a good reason to close part of the road down again. Engineers have explained that the repairs now need to include widening of the original road, removing some of the steeper sections and dangerous sharp curves. I think all that means that it's going to take a lot longer than people originally thought. Meanwhile, an alternative private route starting from behind the Tiger Kingdom, that's down in Katu at the bottom of the hill, and making its way up an alternative route to rejoin Patong Hill Road at the top at the Hilltop Temple, is looking to open sometime this week. I think somebody said it might even be open today. And down the fourth paragraph there's also an alternative road being constructed from Chalong and over the southern end of the Patong Hill, which is also moving ahead. Officials say that is 73% completed. Now, Patong, you need to understand, in Phuket, is such a money driver for the island, and for people not being able to get there conveniently and easily and quickly is a major problem. And that's why this Patong Hill repairs story is so important for the island. Thai PBS World: serious COVID-19 infection cases on the rise in Bangkok and tourist provinces. Now, I approach the story with a certain amount of trepidation because it'll trigger a lot of the anti-COVID commenters out there, but I'm just sort of reporting this as it is written in Thai PBS. I'll then give you a bit of a personal view from the island of Phuket, which I suppose we could say is one of those tourist provinces to which it refers. But the story says COVID-19 infections in Thailand last week increased 12.8% compared to a week earlier, and it's anticipated the number of patients requiring hospitalisation is likely to increase in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So these are just statistics that we can check and verify and report, and we're not here to do any fear-mongering. The second paragraph there, describing the rising number of infections as just a small wave, says that the situation was not unexpected, with the fatality rate remaining stable despite the increase in more serious cases. The third paragraph there, the increased hospitalisations were reported in Bangkok and its surrounding provinces, as well as in tourist provinces in eastern and southern regions. I think the code there is eastern, meaning in the Pattaya area, and southern regions basically referring to Phuket. And the second part of that paragraph, more than half of the cases reported between November the 6th and the 12th are not vaccinated or not fully vaccinated, leaving them vulnerable, so he says. So just wanted to add that anecdotally, I've got quite a few friends, people that I deal with every day, who currently have COVID-19. They've tested positive, and so all of them are sick to varying degrees. Some of them sort of bedridden at the moment, and I wish them well for a speedy recovery. So there does appear to be some sort of wave of COVID-19 going through at least this southern island, although we note that most of these variants are not as dangerous as early variants. Not going to say much more on that until I get some more facts in front of me. But that's the situation as reported by Thai PBS World. They're also reporting that Sunday deadline looms to conclude the World Cup broadcast deal for Thailand. At the moment, Thais will have to, well, they won't be able to watch the World Cup for free. And even though the NTSB last week stumped up some 600 million, they need, I think, 1.8 million to pay for the rights. Let's check the story. The Sports Authority of Thailand has until this Sunday to conclude a deal with FIFA for the broadcast rights in Thailand. Otherwise, the Thai audience will miss out on the chance to see the matches. And we note there in the third paragraph that the NBTC has put up 600 million baht for the rights, but FIFA has not responded to a request for a further reduction of the 1.6, not 1.8, it's 1.6 billion baht price tag, but he expects to receive a reply today. And the fifth paragraph there, an informed source says that FIFA is unlikely to cut the rights fee to 30 million US. They've already discounted it from 38 to 36 million. Please, FIFA, can we have a good deal, good price for us? We'll know by Sunday if there's going to be a reduction in the fee. I suspect with this sort of unofficial election campaign running at the moment that they'll find a way to get the World Cup shown to Thais for free. And with that, I thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully that brings you up to date with some of the main stories around Thailand and the region. We hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Please, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow.